timi eni dwumedie no ema na omuntimi ento dan de bi emfama na nso nya baabi na fa otito na nso so asumdwe eni ahoto embra ofie se wo pe asase ato ene nsase no bekwakoto asase wo baabi na chese manso kese pa eda ho a chese ye twon sre ni abasa na unya court sika krampo fanfa lawyer ema no kodi asem ne emfama millennium se menka njoze omunsa ase no ehun jo so nkokra a uba chese insase no se ne tibia no ubetimi enye bi ato na usika mpo nso a betimi twetwa na kakra sika no edamu anase ebom a na ese asase ne ho nkra tansense bia no yetimi achechire ediama na bibia etimi akoyi ediama tifoniche Millennium Construction Company Limited na omuntimi endi dwumadie no emfama na nso so bebia odi udin anase bebia odi utibeto no eno so enye fapem emfama ewa brabona jebonim na me twen so crampo da wase me hyase na me rolling me stories na ne me de ebro no na bibia tibi koye edema but me di nkomo de akyerɛw se okɔ mrahye bedwefie a enra omotena ase no nsem bebre tibi kɔ so ewo mrahye bedwefie na me de ho nsem ebeba na onsoso no wetimi enya bi ewo ɛhɔ no but currently as you speak say ope oman Ghana baby a omwankase gina when it comes to gold reserves in our country oman Ghana ejina number 6 ewo world currently as we speak but so oba ebibrem Africa haroma oman Ghana in terms of gold producing countries eda number 1 ewo kromo hanoma chese jebo His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Baso ene Sami Jemfie ono da gold border no jebo omabaso kama ewo saa kwan so be the ho nsem ebetimi aba na ma cheche nsemu ama won so wetimi ate ase ho na babedi nkomo we wa hanom da Professor Nana Ama Brown Kluche eye EPA president as EPA CEO na enche bia na His Excellency John Dramani Mahama a tax claim say ono enyusu anase wa fund $200,000 e dia man say chemicals e friend nanoid ebetimi ate water bodies are contaminated with galamsey no ono ebetimi ahwe ho ameki sure say yensu asay illegal mining asay ewo krom hanom no je betimi ate ama inso no eni ate ama bibie etimi akoyie na okodru most of the galamsey site asa inso tenene da no nsemo a akoso wo honom no be de munchiremu ebeba na onsoso no wetimi apebi ahwe ewo ha na last week and I said over this particular week and you who say Haruna Idris or the Minister of Education and the President of Germany EBPM ewo asante memo ha na in fact omobaye no omu ebeye omoniema kakra de omani chire KTI eko kate so that cheso mu besi facility kese pa ewo KTI Kumasi Technical Institute ehonum enomko kate so no ewo honum na nyina no eye the facilitation of German government omobema bibia etimi akoyie na we na Haruna Idris ko pie mu mrahye bedwefie enra no ode nsembia todwa o say the roads in Kumasi are very bad and the country needs to expand major roads in Kumasi and not make sure say expansion of roads no ebetimi aboa ama transportation and other daily business apostle kroma na etimi aboa but the one sem no remember video na ma ama so wetimi ho se na nema na esi eko ewo kasa fidie we so na mamenko NPP fo aso ye se metnas no manka MPP asema na che say the point political horse show yenye adwuma ne yi na meko NPP a and 2 days and I mean say abronye ono no the chairman Eldemabono region no that's the NPP regional chairman etimi akọ live on his on one kasa the social media handle Ohia TV akototo amane Dr. Richard Anane the former road and transportation minister Satam no na Yura John Adekumko for a time and no the minister of road and transportation na watoto amane no wakeke bi ache de pa in some abronya kebi akeka dia chere Richard Anane no ano dey even wa attacking the personality say sebi tama na oye adwuma no oye kromfo ne nsa aha no as chese no oye wianema e wo ministry ho no bebo videos no na ye de ho nsem no etimi aba but iyokofo yes iyokofo etimi etu anamo bi na anamo na iyokofo etimi etu no in fact me kra mete ha no eye me de because sanamo no metu no 4 years ago me personally enka ebi ya to me anamo ben na yokofo etimi etu ye friend kofo bi killnet a enche bia last week hu say Bolare ede sa company ni abagana chese ometimi announce more presence say ometimi facilitate online business and will be engaging a lot of youth. Now, the real company killnet no honum, but other people, I'm talking about fake and unscrupulous people be. And so I imagine say ombefa kweti kwanso na omo etimi elutu innocent individuals resources in the name of killnet. Na eno anam so ama the economic and organized crime officer ya to omudin say Iyoko etimi akoche nipa mako 324 ewo kumase ahanoma chese o ma pake amanfo ediomegu dem a chese human trafficking na chese omo ye ho adwuma ewo kro bada yekofo akwakoche omo in the aid of in the aid of Kioneta chese and also ekoso kro bo hanon but mebo video bi achro na video na mebo di achro na esre kakra video ni nyina chese they be medium komo say yen drivers ye trotro drivers no mo krom hanom no omo de mrahye omo botom na omo aboma kohoma e wo passengers botom especially about 3 4 5 e wo krom hanom no man ka say twa omo bo no mo je lorry fares akese e wo krom ha na mebo video bi achro upon the scene that passengers wofu no matric canes e de bo driver ni mate say omato driving fame every aban ho every GPRTU for in the sign into was someone that say a discipline drivers any mate e wo krom hanom enti me hu video am say nkrofo we dey ultimate say drivers for into more money too no ultimate say aburo so amache say dey bufu aba ye ba be this video no honkomo now so no wetimi hu senia niema esi eko ewa hanom so for now no ahanom Tofiakwa TV Time TV on YouTube and also on Facebook. It's momodin na subscribe for me. Na bibia intimi enkoye emfa maye. Me ndin komo kakra ewo the gold board reserves are abeto you as a Ghana right now as you speak a place is safe in the world and also first in Africa. That is according to the World Gold Council 2025. In komono anode producer drop it the first picture na mama ndin komo kama na bibi intimi enkoye. Now, I believe, say, Yerajo Jumani Mahama, ever since or assuming the office as the president of the Republic of Ghana, sworn in 7 January, no, he has been able to embark on most of his flagship programs, talking about the 24-hour economy, the no stress-free policy, maintaining the free senior high school, although say in 2015, or the progressively senior high school, and other things that Wetimi are manifested during his second term as a president of Republic of Ghana. And to me, one thing Wetimi established here, Etimi sustaining the economy. I'm making sure say obechi the dollar together with the cedi now sustaining the country called Ghana for quite period of time now has been how Wetimi established the gold board with the aid of the constitution. Now let me do come over as a video so I catch or say. So, o check it quite fast so establish a gold board now. A woman said now in a quick time, maybe 24 hours, 48 hours, with the constitution facilitated, the gold board. Making sure say, baby about 2 or money, baby don't mind econo. So one facilitated gold board, now seeing a lot of gold reserves. Now I'm maintaining a lot of rates in terms of stabilizing our finances and economic crisis that we have in our country. Or mind the bekwa kodru baby say be ye cedi no ebetime dwane close to about 30 cedis per dollar, and he needed to facilitate the establishment of gold board. And then so we check it time otimi establishing gold board on the year asame jemfi koto ano. From that time up to this time a year din komo gold board etimi immunity a merit of $3 billion. $3 billion. And a gold board etimi are facilitated with the help of Sami Jemfi and other people are omuye juma e gold board. Now, omujume DN say they buy from the small scale miners. I'm talking about the legal miners. When you say you legal miners and the illegal miners. Illegal miners near Ghana safe for no. So they buy from them and they make sure say buying from these illegal miners, no, Ghana will have good gold reserves, and as far as making sure say almost also they are caught into the market and they will bargain to get good price for the country. Unlike other previous government, say gold no cramp, say government no quack to the free these particular people you need any other body regulatory the prices of gold that we have in our country. It will be too gold will be no funny gold that no they are quaman on it. No they are quaman on it, no aquacoton. Or they quaman on the aquacoton. How would it benefit the country as a whole? How would it benefit the individual that we have in our country? No namsumo mind Ghana eboka in a lot of moment. But here are Donjoman in Mahama Bayeno. He has been able to establish the gold board, and Sammy Jemfi doing it on his shoulders, making sure that Ghana in the last couple of months will have $3 billion as profit. Now, producer, Fasan list way to Sumami. Now, according to the World Gold Council 2025, NCBAO, and no more drop pay, that kind of thing, Edema. We are self-financing, so Bianche send your countries a treaty when it comes to gold board reserves, and as a gold board reserve that we have in our country. Now, the World Gold Council 2025, at the report about Betuja. That's how share the World Gold Council 2025. So you produce a nya dia toso dia mamia. Enka woni beje e wo kwan a Ghana etimi am manifesting on way going into the seed position. NCB are establishing the gold board now. Ghana has been able to find its way on a seed position, which is very good. Now, so we'll check Omaya Odikaya China, over 380.2 tons of gold. I want the reserve. China. 380.2 tons of gold. I want the reserve. Now, the Odiwo Russia, because China for two gold will mukrum, they don't to gold. China for two gold they will mukrum, but ye be Bremha, Ghana, La Côte d'Ivoire, South Africa, and other African countries, Congo and other African countries, they will krum hanom no. And na menu wudi nkomo o mabet gu krom hanom metutu ye ngudie no. E dia ko bu krom some more foreign some more gold reserves. And to among the 380.2 tons of gold. Now Russia has also 330.0 tons of gold. Russia for also toss second. Omusun to gold be omukrum. But then Omutoso second with a huge amount of 330.0 tons of gold. Now so we'll call Australia. Australia funds were 384.0 tons of gold. That is Australia. 284.0 tons of gold. And no more. Samria me no kase. No one kasa dia for Canada. Canada also were 202.1 tons of gold. And a Canada for. It is all checking common now. Canada for a toss of fourth. USA of all people. And so 158 tons of gold. And a Ghana. 140.6 tons of gold, which is good. At long last, the battle has ended. And the community says, "Baby, Ghana Babedrono, Ghana movie from the last foreign reserve that we had. No, Ghana Timia movie from that particular possession rate of 24, from 24 to seed position, which is very good for my friend say." Ghana currently as we speak. It is very, very, very good on that. Now, producer Mame, Sami Jemfi picture. Mame, Sami Jemfi picture ni no nkomo kakra. Yeah. Now, so share Sami Jemfi a Abrante no ye didn't call gold board one chair, but he is trying his best to help Oman Ghana. Now we shouldn't forget, say, before the appointment of Sami Jemfi, now you're Sami Jemfi ye dumada with the mining company you're Ibrahim Mahama and manage. He was part of the management board. So he knows the ins and outs of managing gold reserves. He knows the ins and outs of deliberating on a market basis when it comes to gold prices in our country, Ghana. So at the time I say the Samuel Jefi Kwako to gold board, no. Most of us did not have that kind of belief in Samuel Jefi said he can easily do it. But I am one of these people. I had that total belief in Samuel Jefi said he can easily execute the perfect function. The entire year I had that belief in him. And baby, our minor Bible, the gold board is playing a pivotal role in the economy. Baby, I got an economy in the Bible, the gold board right now is playing a pivotal role in the economy of Ghana. If it has not been with this gold board and with the good, effective supervisory board of Sami Jemfia, and baby and combine in terms of our economy, and I know because the prices of goods and services are dropping. Transportation fares continuing a decrease. The dollar is gradually decreasing. That tells you the effective work of how Sami Jemfi has been able to turn things around for our country, Ghana. And we need to applaud him. See, sometimes, and then we try to lambast, we try to criticize, we try to say a whole lot of things about people that even sometimes some of us even don't know how and where they manage to do things and run policies for the government. But at least, if for a long period of time we've had Ghana placing sixth in the world, according to the stats now, it tells you say we are gradually doing it very well. Unlike last 2 years, now of course South Africa, who places in Africa sense, and now South Africa anyway the largest gold reserve in Africa. Yes, South Africa, no more the largest gold reserves in Africa. Go Johannesburg, go Pretoria, go to these big cities that they have in South Africa. A whole united mining cities. So they were having the largest gold reserve that we have in Africa. But I can say Ghana about to South Africa, but also first. What does it tell you? It means the gold board, they are doing something wonderful. Gold board, Juma. Sami Jemfi is doing it. We need to applaud him. We need to applaud Sami Jemfi on that. It's an common no make us a baby fan check. We be say in case somebody ba ho de na nka wodim de keka we de nya somebody bia na ye bo Sami Jemfi abaso ntem say opanyin in fan picture into so mam na ye bo na abaso. We need to applaud Sami Jemfi because what he has been able to do in the last 8 months since he didn't call gold board office, no, he has been splendid, and it is giving me that kind of hope. In Yera John Dramani Mahama said, the appointment of youth, and sometimes most of us were not in agreement, you know. The youth are proving something beyond doubt. So when you give them that favorite position, they can utilize a lot of things at their hand. If I actually, Ashanti region, look at what Dr. Frank Abakwene is doing in Ashanti region. Splendid. Gold board. Sami Jemfi is also doing the same thing over there. Go to DVLA. Look at how this man is also working very well with DVLA office. Young man. So gradually, the country is gradually getting there. See, a time will come. The youth will take over. Youth, no. Positions near the man youth, no. It is actually igniting the spirit. Say, right now, in Mebuno, sorry, just to fight for the country. Because it may be a change under the previous administration. We had a lot of old people running the affairs for about 8 to 7 years. Yes, so the country was in a serious disrepute. Check it, Kese Watoforsen, the Minister of Finance. Young man, he is placing himself very well on that particular ministry. Look at those important ministries that we have in our country. Check the communication ministry. Felix Ofosu Kwache, young man doing his job diligently. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Okuji Tua Blakwa, also doing exemptionally very well. Sam George, in the communication, also very well. So it gives me that notion, say, Kakan Kakra, the country will get there. Or the youth would overtake. And the NDC right now has become an attractive political party for the youth. So we are mebuna so ope baby ewura. Ope political party be ewura. And on the bet me aboa ama o political career and wait me do honoma will be able to say ewura NDC because over the series of years we've had young politicians making sure some bedom NDC ebo. Look at John Dumelo. Right now he is the deputy minister for Agric ministry. He is also doing exceptionally well with that ministry. We haven't seen a scandal in the last couple of months under John Dramani Mahama. No scandal, Nessie. The only thing that we heard was Ebenezer Kofiado, that is the Esutifi North MP. At the time, another name was for Kwako Bragalamse, Esutifi, North, that is the only thing. That is not a scandal. That is not a scandal. It is a result of indisciplined nature that became over the MP. It means can't say a scandal. It is not a scandal, but then it was an indisciplined action. MP no eteki. It's even kind of sad that too. So yembo sami jefi abaso. Nyembo good board abaso. Nyembo yeru ajonjumani abaso say. Nyembo na all year demo my Ghana no. He should continue doing that, and then it will actually help on my Kron Ghana on that particular level. Now, let's run through our second story now. Yendi nkomo kakra ewo ehonum. Now, yemame baku amabedi no nkomo ewo hanom da. Your friend Professor Nanama Brown Kluche. Na I think last 2 weeks or so, me betina se di nkomo kakra e de fa no ho. Saying say she is the CEO overtaking the EPA agency, that is the Environmental Protection Agency. Inti yensuo eni yensase a galamsey no ase no ewo kurum hanom no. She is responsible of making sure say obeboa ama yensuo no eni ate yensase no so etimi recover in most of the moment. Now last week about this particular week, he has taken it upon himself. Say I was so call most of these illegal mining sites no illegal miners ni ekodi nkomo no making sure say those places water bodies now the illegal miners chemicalizing those water bodies or no be using chemical your friend say nanoid not their tea in so any. This task was called by John Dramani Mahama to Professor Nana Makluche. Say or funded $200,000. On use $200,000 no and call the various sites illegal mining no. AD ni ewo ho. Now making sure say or the chemical reference none of the better things so ni. It last 2 weeks me both video be share one in so no any ashase ete. Ni na the help of Brown Kluche professor. She was doing that. Now we didn't come be. Now in common na we no. I think say I was say ye pen ho asem eka because we are talking about the life of Yura Brown Kluche. Mamintie in common first one or say one. The heavily built men in CID vest were working with illegal miners at the site. The heavily built men in CID vest were working with illegal miners at the site. So Odin common say at the time now doing say all call and also okodru illegal mining site honom no. CID 4 ya pon mo say nkasabi omunko stop illegal miners no. It was these remote areas no ono ne soldiers for okodru honom no. Na sa CID 4 no mo share security vest no. Any illegal miners ni mum any etu agudie no wo mining site ho. Etiebo no hu. Tienio the CEO of EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. This woman is a professor of Christ's sake. And then she cannot come out and lie. And in fact, Utian Commander Wodina, I say it got a point in time. Now I say running for the life. Because Ruth no more so called Sir Galamsey site now. He had an intel telling her say he shouldn't use that route when coming back. Because now Galamsey tax no. Ewo. Road no so and also more the same route no so or more train say EPA boss and then his soldiers will come over there. Now come fast same route one man. and Kamenyo Shosen Kobe survive it. He said it. Sorry, she said it. This woman is a professor, and ontimi mabonti me chantro. So the first was say the heavily built men in CID Vest were working with illegal miners at the site. It is CID for our government. I found them some illegal miners site war. Now munko fight illegal miners. Now make sure some make claiming and sa some yensu no. What they are moko ye no. Bako just kapudo. Egumbotom. Allegedly. Mako ji egumbotom. And I just say mo collaborate with illegal miners. And I'm going to do it. Debi ameka se baby a sebi ya muka se me se baby e sane bonsam na wan bi wo no he enkomo no ano odin galamsey fo no galamsey ntokwa no me say so ye rajonjumani ma wanye ruthless ah. He can never fight the galamsey. He should be ruthless, more ruthless. In fact, he should be radical in fighting the galamsey that we have in our country. Because how can you tell me, says here before, you people have been funded by the government to go in there, fight the galamseyers over that we have in our country? And you people will come back and tell us, say, moko ya no into any nyama hodu ewo seb in wuremu ho no enya asem ketua you needed to fight. Mo ba no masa betwa police like masa betwa yentro. This is an eyewitness by Professor Nana Brown-Kluchi, and then she needed to say that. Now, utie ne nkomo na nkomo no na anodin edema professor. Na nkomo no anodin edema professor. Now, producer, you call the next one. I say we had an intel. So just like what I was talking about, we had an intel not to use the route we used to go to the illegal mining site because we were not at a safe place, so we had to leave. We had an intel not to use the route we used to go to the illegal mining site because we were not at a safe place, so we had to leave. According to Professor Nana Brown-Kluchi, nipa na ira njomen mahama pound say onkoti nso na asen ni wo nkrase no. Galamsey is one abo person meku no. Enti intel no ye hwan mo. So this is where the investigation need to start from. Intel no omo Professor Nana Brown-Kluchi omo ka che ne say Nana Brown be pacho so free baby a wono na nkrofo na wo ba be ko no me ko ntokwa no. We need to have those people because those people no can easily give the government necessary information be how most of these mining sites are being. That is what we need to ask Professor Nana Brown-Kluchi. It was about her life, but we need to know those intel ni yankrophobia omuni ni dis am komono. Omo ka asasem ni two the says one free mining site one ma. E debate me aye no. You see, reasoning in and say, we have some people who had collaborated with the illegal miners. It was site on them, which of course they are in the government positions. It's internal. That's what I'm saying. Say internal. Some microphone some information. We need to get to the bottom of this particular issue. Getting to the bottom of the issue, they say, internal. What work do they do? And I say. Omo kasa duty panel saying ewo baby a Professor Nana Brown-Kluchi e call ye no say one e betima ba say e nkrofo ase bi obodo mu ni e hono bet obo wo office na bi obi wo site wa frɛ matese say professor aba ha no mo mpacho mo kan che say wa nkwa nkrofo bi say e betima ba ha no which is good, which is actually good. But what I want to say is say, in Crawford that kind of information, you find it out. You won't point about first one, you knew be in common. And then we start the investigation from that particular bottom. If we are able to start that said investigation, then we'll get to the bottom of the issue where we know those people are omumasa information no ebae. Now we didn't come be as answer their twice so na san common they are not ordin. Producer yenko your second one, yenko your third one. Or say the longer we stayed at the mining site, the more the Galamsey operators kept coming. Wow. I said the longer we stayed at the mining site, the more the Galamsey operators kept coming. Yes. Enti Yanfan says so could 1 hour ewo Galamsey site one now. The moment the operators in better say Nkrophobia bahonom no. Government adding Nkrophobia military men about no pay. Na operators na shall say back na omo ba. And so what kind of article, what kind of sema on a in central for 18 komo ewo honom na or say the Galamsey operators no were more armed. More than the military men on your course in some mining site honom no. And the Galamsey operators no, if said they were more armed, a tool any second any sebi those kind of things no that's the first question. Also they were more armed. More than military men. I'm a military man import any din komo say so when free hold man kwa omutuo ni omutu so de buy no it cannot facilitate the prevention of onona branch no. So they needed to run away from the mining site. Army officers now getting in din komo say etuo ni ade e wo mo no. Or the way boys ne more armed now. They cannot omuntimi face so in boot for boot. So they needed to run away. This is from Nana Brown Cloche, EPSEO. So right now in common say how and when the government will effectively fight these Galamsey operators that we have in our country. Because in fight two or more, they are still doing it. They are still destroying our lands. They are still destroying our water bodies, and they are still doing it, of course. Monday, no mebebo video beach show about Kwaya, the MP of Esutify North, Ebenezer Kofiado, instigating some of the tax ewo Esutify in making sure say military men, any name was director or muko say or muko stop Galamsey operation ewo Esutify North no. Obedi omenim akwaje omu tools and equipment are easy na even po I instigate to almost say allegedly yambo military men no ewo krono so. We've had couple of videos about the MP of Esutify South, that is Collins Dauda, campaigning for the Galamsey for so see so the notion about Galamsey is say, do we have some people, some government appointees, some member of parliament, do we have some ministerial position people who are in support of this Galamsey in Krom? If yes, then there is no way to say because Medin Komo say assembly all those parliament approve investigation into the matter. The president of the Republic of Ghana approve say you're conducting investigation, or set a committee, or probing investigation into it. But the matter of it, they say if the president does not have that radical nature to fight against the Galamsey, it will still persist in our country. If the government does not do it in a ruthless manner, the Galamsey will still persist in our country, which of course wouldn't help our country Ghana. Eti kromo hanomon sensem ne Galamsey hon sensem no. Say yera John Dramani Mahama ampe ho asem anka. It will be very difficult. It will be very difficult for us to tackle that particular information, as for us to tackle that particular problem that we are facing in our country. Now, producer, Mame Haruna Idris video and then nkomo kodi ye ewo the Parliament of Ghana. Yeah. Mame Haruna Idris video no. Na yendi nkomo kakra fanfa video no. Say video na ready ama me. Mame Haruna Idris video no yenti nkoma okodi ewo the Parliament of Ghana.
Because I just got back from Kumasi this afternoon. When you are in Kumasi, the congestion, because we have not opened up the city, yet it's one of the fastest growing cities in the country, the green city. We have not invested in Kumasi Road. From the airport to Lancaster, where the German president was hosting, you have to be struggling through traffic. We need to do more in expanding the road infrastructure of these cities: Accra, Kumasi, Tamale, and Takoradi. Because when we are entering Takoradi, the overhead bridge you started under Sino Hydro, uncompleted. Discipline. What happened? So, Mr. Speaker, I want to commend him for a very academic. This one looks like he's writing a thesis to be awarded something else. But to thank him at least for bringing this matter to fore. But this house, Mr. Speaker, I just got back from Kumasi this afternoon. When you are in Kumasi, the congestion, because we have not opened up the city, yet it's one of the fastest growing cities in the country, the green city. We have not invested in Kumasi Road. From the airport to Lancaster, where the German president was hosting, you have to be struggling through traffic. We need to do more in expanding the road infrastructure of these cities: Accra, Kumasi, Tamale, and Takoradi. Because when we are entering Takoradi, the overhead bridge you started under Sino Hydro, uncompleted. Discipline. What happened? So, Mr. Speaker, I want to commend him for a very academic. This one looks like he's writing a thesis to be awarded something else. But to thank him at least for bringing this matter to fore. But this house, Parliament, has a role in the way we allocate resources, not just this Assembly Common Fund. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Parliament, no. Now, so would say Haruna Idrisu Nkomo or Parliament. It is just simple. He wants the Parliament of Ghana, and he wants the government of the Republic of Ghana to consider other cities apart from Accra. So if we want to have basic infrastructural development in some of the cities that we have in our country, then Kumasi and other cities should be looked at. For Christ's sake, Kumasi is the second capital of Ghana. Takoradi, it is also one of the largest cities that we have in our country. Sunyani, big. Tamale, big. But we cannot use only Accra as a metropolitan assembly in saying you develop Accra and Kwani other cities that we have in our country. For Christ's sake, Kumasi is also the second city as compared to Accra. And even with Accra and Puno, and also even with Kumasi, no. Kumasi Diano is just about here no a kingdom on its own, with a lot of facilities. But the road networks that leads to other places now is somehow poor. The road network that leads to other places in Kumasi is very, very, very poor. Also, from airport runabout, Kokosi Lancaster, baby a German president, or a German president, they call die. Any baby a omufa eba KTI ebe sword cutting na also rose nye kra rose nye, and because of they were stuck in traffic for quite a number of hours. Stuck in traffic because the nature of our road is very small. Of which we have some routes in Kumasi and Kosenke trunk roads. We are talking about airport runabout, the road that leads to Crofom, road that leads to I can say Kenya's own. I will say a trunk road. Ebetimiafa 4 vehicles at a time. 4 on other part, 4 on other part. Sinebeya roads ni mubedawa and stack traffic ewo krom. But Kumasi even as a whole, In the last 8 years of the previous administration, road papa ben pan and NPP 40 me a year the two Kumasi Kuruma. The one that they started, it was Swami runabout. No? It was just about 7 months to the election. On the day, Saturday we buy. It is 7 months to election. No? You wanted the people of Ashanti region to go out and vote for the NPP massively and retain you in power. Whilst you've been in power for the past 8 years, and you were not able to do anything. Our Ashanti region, in terms of road construction, you did not even temper most of the roads that we have in our country. And the Kwabri East, go to Kwabri East, go to South, check the state of these roads. Other places, even the Sofala interchange area, up to now, now so 8 good years, we need to complete Sofala interchange in Impo. Sofala interchange complete you. Amun complete ye. Amun ye. Go to Accra and see some of the interchanges. National Kwama first to complete interchange next to Krumo Hanum no. Je complete ye. It was what Chairman say. I set now money Kumasi for times. I set now money and the Ashanti region bet now for the last 8 years now. Ne papa. Enya papa. Udru Krumo Hanuma. Yeka Kumasi Garden City. Yeka Kumasi the second capital of the Republic of Ghana. But then the roads, the facilities, the infrastructures in Kumasi is very bad. And that is what Haruna Idrusu is talking about at the parliament. And sometimes, you know, yempeni for net nasia asemisia. Now for normal margin say they are speaking to it. Anya German president and on free ni krom ba Ghana. Eyesa oba Ashanti Kingdom. Aba besra opim so a. Menye sure say ka Haruna Idrusu be ko parliament akoka sa asem wi. Menye sure say ka obeko parliament akoka sa asem wi. Me blame ni bebre because no oba ba mu ncheye. But omotina Bible for the past 8 years. And when they were coming into power in 2016, the Ashanti region voted massively for them. In fact, the turnout in most of the electoral areas, and electoral centers, was very massive in Ashanti region. Voted massively for them, but when they came into power, still, the road network in Ashanti region is very bad. The road network in Ashanti region is very bad. Krofom market was started by Kofo. In Komana Yedino, Krofo market, Kofo na started you, Omaba power, 8 years, mo intimi anye Krofo market. Mamponte market, mo intimi anye. And we are talking about a leader waba. What making sure say those kind of infrastructures are going to be complete. He is coming to complete it in Ashanti region. So akwakoya dey normal. When the MPP comes to power, they don't do anything beneficial for the people of Ashanti region. They don't do anything beneficial to help the people of Ashanti region. But this region has given their best. This region has given it all to the NPP people. They say emrene dane. Before said they will realize, now it's too late. Before the NPP will realize, now it's too late. Because the Ashanti region is having someone or a youth, as Obe classified and say, or a young or a youth, he's among the youth. He knows what the youth wants. He knows what to get from the youth, and the youth also knows what to get from him. And Obaya Enche Biano, the rate at which he has become attractive to the people of Ashanti region, tells you say he is doing something well for the people in our country. That makes me think. Say, baby or mine about no. Any baby or mine ekono. Say, a tokosu koni say ya na say NDC omoba power no important roads, inner roads, trunk roads, big roads, will dual carriage roads, will promote Hanum the Ashanti region. It will turn. And Commander Haruna rules could do a parliament no. So mo tokoso. That's what mo could do in common ye. That's what omutimi ye ejumani ye. Ewo hoduma me say the thing will turn. And enkoye say MPP for na power and I know we enkoye say ade ni biem the thing will pen. Now producer yendi nkomo we na me fan twa to bo abronye video ne ma me na me fa enu twa to da yen sorry wo kase video no so bo abronye video ne ma me na yenti edidi ataba odidi ra Dr. Richard Anane.
Challenge to Richard Anane. Same emrantia wo ma family system ane wo mo public sector eya abanya duma omo bro handed wo untimi nkyere nipa 20 8 years as a minister untimi nkyere nipa 20 a wo Richard Anane wa fa o maduma wo pa I am throwing a challenge to you say mamene wo nsia wo abusua fm ho me ya me pe evidence base Richard Anane me ha bibia ni wa apart from say obey minister wo bo okro no nya sika cheme unko school cheme the difference between me no wo Richard Anane say wo ye kromfo obey minister bo okro no nti wo sika cheme apart from that unko school cheme time na medical doctor kra no na run prescription na de man krofo enu bone na tretre panie bone na won krofo mo mu nti get that. The fact is how benya minister bokro no nya sika term me ma bronye no unko school term eti bibia ana me no gina ho so a utimu say difference ne ye clear difference e wo ansa obeye minister bokro no nya sika e term eno dia me no mpre kro no ho because enya de papa wo de obia nim say obeye minister na won sa how nti eno no dia me no mepre wo kro no ho me no mpre ho na mom ebase wa wona asia se wa challenge to woro Richard Anane same emrantia wo ma faminsam ane wo mo public sector eya abanya duma omo bro handed wo untimi nkyere nipa 20 8 years as a minister untimi nkyere nipa 20 a wo Richard Anane wa fa o maduma wo pa I am throwing a challenge to you say mamene wonsia wo abusua fm ho me ya me pe evidence base Richard Anane me ha bibia ni wa apart from say obey minister wo bo okro no nya sika cheme unko school cheme the difference between me no wo Richard Anane say wo ye kromfo obey minister bo okro no nti wo sika cheme apart from that unko school cheme time na medical doctor kra no na run prescription na de man krofo enu bone na tretre panie bone na won krofo mo mu nti get that. The fact is how benya minister bokro no nya sika term me ma bronye no unko school term eti bibia ana me no gina ho so a utimu say difference ne ye clear difference e wo ansa obey minister bokro no nya sika e term eno dia me no mpre kro no ho because enya de papa wo de obia nim say obey minister na won sa how nti eno no dia me no mepre wo kro no ho me no mpre hu na mom ebase wa wona asia se wa ba party ni mu ache no media ne sama me no ntia na yenya debate yemfa evidence mrasa Richard Anane you join the party
ene abronye DC etiminya akokodro ekasa edi Dr. Richard Anane atem say ya asemba akopena mpese meka very disappointed in Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Very disappointed in Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. When was the last time? And I said, when was it? Who's a Kennedy communicators from the camp, ADNPP, foot soldiers at him. When was the last time? When was the last time I would say, yes, Kennedy Japan, ne nkrofo mo kasama no edi Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia atem impo edi some of the foot soldiers that we have in our country and that's what we had in NPP. See, if you want to become a president, you cannot step your toes, and so you cannot step your foot on the toes of foot soldiers who helped to rebrand the NPP in 1992. The moment aside in Ibesino, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will pray for flag bearer in Nyambwa 31st January 2026. No, say Masad in tokosones a happening, meaning say unye a good leader. Because we've seen countless times Abronye coming out, attacking the elders of NPP, going to the extreme of attacking the general secretary of NPP, attacking the national organizer, attacking all the authorities that the NPP for a war. But then I come and say Makamanwatum because Abronye Kasa the man Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia camp. So he is doing everything possible to make sure say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia win and win convincingly into the 1st January 2026, which shouldn't be the way that it is. Dr. Richard Arane was the Minister of Roads and Transportation under Kufuor's government. Wabobra, he is a medical doctor. In fact, Okasembi, and I know that Dr. Richard Anane will go on to seal Abronye on that. So, oye medical doctor Krampono, na owo impania boni, ema manfu. So oye kronfo ne nsahano. Why should you make such reckless statement? Yeti kromo na Abronye ba bonten beka say MPP authorities, no, that I'm talking about the executive, national executives. Tama ye suspended, Tama ye free Kennedy Japan say wakoka in after last year. The election that happened between only Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, he was caught and now was said he suspended from the political party, but the national executive need to bribe and no man. You see, this reckless statement, no attacking the national executive. A whole NPP national executive, baby NPP ababedruno, and also be sorry, no akase editia the national executive. Obia sorry, no akase editia Dr. Richard Anane, Obia sorry, no akase editia Yera John Ajekum Kufuor. No fan who the free, all because of flag bearership race. Bekoso. Was January 31st, 2026. But then I'm asking you this particular question. Say, man, ye na sa internal wranglings, sa internal politics, tarnishing yourselves, tarnishing the party's image. Man, after January 31st, 2026. Now come 2 years. Now move pre-election. I don't think the NPP is ready for 2028 election. The NPP is not ready for the 2028 election because the NDC will use against you. Yes, social media never forgets. Monsa mamudina simpie so kan mo kotina radio station so kan kotina social media so kan, especially with who Abronye. The NDC will use those videos to fight and campaign against you, the NPP people. And even aftermath, I'm saying it here, say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and baby, I'm not sure say the camp of Kennedy Japan will support Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in coming to power 2028. Say Kennedy Japan will be near. I am not sure. So Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia camp be best supported Kennedy Japan in winning the power in 2028. It will never happen because of the bruises these two camps are causing among themselves. The national executive should call Abronye to order. The rate at which all ranting is unnecessary. The rate at which that Abronye is causing unnecessary noise in social media and even in the country is unnecessary. And he is doing this to tarnish the image of the NPP as a political party, of which the NPP should be very careful with that. So NPP, if one is careful with that, it will go against them in the coming 2028 election. And before that, they will realize now it's too late for them to contain. Because I'm saying it on authority, say the NDC here, what they check it, the social media videos now. I mean for the past 6 months, if we say almost some more campaign for this particular presidential race, no, checking the number of times I brought Yaba Monte attempt, Edi Kennedy Japan attempt, Edi the national executive attempt, attack some of the elder councils within the NPP. When the more check those videos, no, the NDC people are compiling them. And during the 2028 election, they will use those videos to pounce on them, just like how lion pounce on those animals who feed you woman. And that will be the time that the NPP will regret. The NPP is not ready for the 2028 election. I have some couple of messages here that I have to read so that I will end today's program. Now, end the program now. Because I come last story, but then with time we cannot go into it, and I need to read this particular messages over here. Now I have that or one Bright Pascal. So be what the Maestro or Bobby Dinsa or that say be about call there. When so free in 4 Douglas or say good afternoon in 4 Douglas. When so free no who Salim also good job Maestro. No, na coupon sharp for your message. When so free ata Jim Fua or say Ghana. And I inform for Douglas Nanka say was say abronye, or they laughing emojis at their tour. My last video, now I'm sorry, so I have one video there that's no. So this is choir drivers need made for Nibia Faso charge first in the pocket of passengers. Now with the passengers want to say omonche almost omonche and from my driver any mate until somebody about a bromo. In fact, now some who use kings at the bromo na who say think with him who say some phone do okrumo e come here say about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 going na trotro drivers in on your meetings no man can say chomo e dia to chroma it say about 3 pe from Ketia to Pankron no more charge 10 cedis from Atonsu from Ketia to Atonsu Esreso no more charge 12 cedis 10 cedis, which is very, very, very bad. And I believe say sa is sana passengers need channel say koko anymore one who ya bro drivers need meet full crew hadom no enko here asem keto GPR2 for when there was some who reported to my police na police for those times no MTTU for no e make sure say about 3, 4, 5, 6 on me to na esi form na first na man for charge wo crew no o metimi ateso ama bebi etimi akoye na yesuso no oman no nkrofo ho atomo e wo krom ha no. Now these are minimal stories and betimi e de bro e wo the point political hostage show so e wo krom ha. I mean do bibi ase say utimi e be join your life na bibi etimi ko yi e de mai na menda maboafo ase Millennium Construction Company Limited say omutimi e be son ya say na etimi djumedi etimi bro ma bibia etimi ekoyi medical di nkomo da chaw say enemrim Ghana no say ope baby di uti atoa eno enehia ewo abrabo na ubonim ne sa nti no say obo brana no mo make sure so bepe baby e di uti atoa obenya wasundwe no wetimi adwene e di abo brana yi timi kanfo Millennium Construction Company Limited di ama say wope odan esi anasa ope dan atoa ko omasoye no omuntimi enton omodan na ometimi sisi ni bi enfama say wope assassin so atoa omunkrata asem no eda fom boko asebi bansun bia eniso wetimi wakame bia eniso court atwere ndie bia eniso we no ko na ko pe wasase ni bito na bibia ntimi koye so oto asase no so na opese omo asimu anso a omo so betimi esi ama na bibia ntimi dia koye e dia ma omo eno so yase a ye the hot political hot show etimi e de bro e wo Tofiakwa TV, Time TV and also on all our social media handles. So mom go mechi don ma media we bro no. I Brandspire Success and I Emmanuel Labi and etimi ebo mechi don ma media we etimi e de bro. Na me media we ho chair no. If people that J the Maestro nya beboa Monday same time same day yɛbɛsan so ahyia ɛwɔ hanom makraw bye bye.